What's going on, hey guys? It's GLG James, and we're back with another video. Today we'll be talking about the March 16th ban list that's going to be coming out over in March 16th. And we're just going to go over kind of our thoughts of what cards we think will be banned and hit you with all of our predictions. So let's get right into it. Today we also have GLG Spence joining us, as well as GLG Garrett.
What up?
I'm nice and warm over here in my dueling guard hoodie. You know?
So looking into it, these are kind of like the main meta leaders that we kind of see. If I missed one, let me know in the comments. But these are typically the top four that we see as representation. Obviously, in the West, we haven't even seen EBO2 Luffy yet. That's why it's also in Japanese. So the left three is kind of the main culprits, I'd say, of the meta. So would you guys agree, or any questions like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just, there's a lot of decks too that are like really good, and I think that with a ban list, depending on what gets hit, could easily become like, you know, some of the best decks in the format, like Shanks, Lucci, stuff like that. So
oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, Shanks obviously should be on this list too, but yeah. It's not, yeah, there's just no cards in question have been kind of brought up regarding that so far,
yeah.
At least, unless you guys have anything. So going on to the next one, kind of the main culprit of, you know, main card in question for a ban is the leader, right? Doflamingo. This is the one that's been running amok in our meta. It's kind of continuously been done that, and then there's a lot of cards, as you can see. Obviously, we don't think all of these cards will be hit on the ban. These are just cards that have been brought up to, you know, they're kind of in question. So
yeah, when looking at Doffy, I definitely feel like he's doing pretty good in the format and will continue doing good. I hope they don't ban the leader. I always hated when they ban leaders. I really don't think it needs to be done.
Same.
But looking at all these cards, I feel like one of them needs to get hit. I wouldn't say two. I think just one of them needs to get hit. Personally, I would prefer Pudding because I just hate Pudding, you know, since I'm a Black Yellow Luffy main. But if we're looking at a realistic answer, it's just Trafalgar Law, because it invalidates your early turn so early on, and it allows them so much tempo. And that's my opinion on that piece.
Yeah, I feel like Pudding, the only reason I think that would be a good card to get banned, honestly, it's just super devastating when they drop it, but I don't think it's nearly as potent in like other blue decks as it is in Doffy.
Right.
Just because Doffy can go so aggro and then, you know, drop that and then just win the game.
yeah, and nothing's worse.
Like,
seriously, when like they drop that, you have like 8 cards in hand, right? And then they drop that, and they just start poking 6s or poking 7s.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my gosh.
yeah. So I feel like it for that reason, Pudding probably won't get hit just because it's like a really good card for blue to have in general. I feel like personally it's gonna be Law. I know that like everybody hates this card. I just think that the value you can get off it at all times of the game is just too good. Being able to like recycle your searchers and stackers and whatnot, and then because it just dominates the early game. But if it were me, I would ban Teach, because like I've been telling you guys for the past few days, I just think that the value that Teach allows Doffy to get on like those obscure turns, you know, it's like a little too good.
Being able to on 7 go Gravity Blade and then also a Jinbei Weevil using the Teach, disgusting, or something, you know, something along those lines. Like, it's just so gross, and that's kind of why I have Weevil on here. I also agree though with that lob aspect, but I think with Doffy, right, it's like there used to be like parts to it that you could play around, right? So before you could starve them out, right? So and I think the Trafalgar Law kind of prevents that from being able to happen anymore, because they can just bounce back their searchers, they bounce back their stackers, stuff like that. So it really kind of heals that, you know, that Achilles heel it used to have, right? Same with it being able to have that removal. Before, you know, Doffy didn't have that removal. It would go aggro, but it didn't have an ability to kind of remove your characters, which that Law does do. So I think, yeah, that aspect of it, plus, like I said, the Weevil being able to continuously draw you cards, right? Being a Shanks player, when they see all those Weevils and they keep being able to, stop the starving you're doing. It's like it's so annoying.
Yeah.
So
And touching on the Jinbei kind of too, like Garrett kind of mentioned it off camera, but he was saying that it just provides so much value to Boa, and it can be used in Doflamingo and it's still fine. So I don't think that card should get banned, especially because it adds support to other Warlords decks and stuff. So I would definitely agree with Marshall, DT, or Trafalgar Law.
yeah, absolutely. I think so too. So
I just think that the deck could function without Law or Teach, but I personally don't think it can function without Jinbei or Weevil.
yeah, because that's kind of what it's really trying to do, right?
Yeah.
It's really trying to get those more characters out that Jinbei. Plus, like I said, it always sucks when you hit another deck, right? Like, what did Boa do? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, moving on to the next one, we have Teach. Me personally, I don't really think, it has any issues right now. I know in 10 it gets kind of nasty with this Liberation event and this Kuzan. But right now, in the West, it's really underrepresented, I feel like. Not like it was in the East around this time for their format.
I definitely agree with that. I don't think Teach is that much of a problem right now. In the West, it has a trouble stabilizing right now, I believe. Like, it just has to get to those late turns where it could drop its 10 beards and stuff like that. But yeah, I think right now Teach is pretty balanced, and there are a lot of counters to him. And a lot of decks I think are too fast for Teach at the moment, but it definitely could shift depending on this ban list.
Yeah, and I also think that Doffy's like one of those decks keeping Teach in check.
That's true.
So I feel like in, at least in the Eastern format, with all these cards, if Doffy gets hit like too hard, or just banned outright, then I could see Teach like being a real issue. So like hopefully they balance it well, but I don't think they'll hit any cards from Teach just because it's like it's such a different leader.
Yeah, and it really relies on a specific archetype. Right?
Yeah, and it keeps the meta in check. Like,
yeah,
so
it's a good gatekeeper. Yeah, I know that people though are having issues with this Kuzan, just because essentially it can't be removed at all, right? So once it's on the board, it's sitting there, at least removed by effects. And then what was it? It just being able to get so much value, being able to play a character trash or from your trash, and also being able to draw. So just kind of like you're not really losing anything. But the caveat to that is, okay, Teach also loses so much hand size, so it really kind of keeps it going, But being able to play a Burgess from your trash, right? And also being able to draw, and then also having an anti-KOable or removable card, like it does do a lot. But they need it, right? They need some other good cards versus it just being 10 drop or bust. Which I mean, even then, I still would say it is. So yeah, and then the Liberation is just that one that removes 2 characters, which I think is pretty gross. Definitely as an event, being able to remove a 6 and a 4.
Yeah,
original.
It's
4,
just it just hurts like slower decks.
Yeah, exactly.
And original cost too, not even like boosted cost from like Black Purple Luffy or anything like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Or reduction of cost from Teach. Right. So moving on to the next one, we have, unless you guys had any other points on that.
No, you can go ahead.
All right, let's move on. I'll let Spencer lead this one off. It's his baby, the deck he's been piloting since starter deck 13.
I'm very biased, so you might want to turn your headphones off if you don't like Luffy Glaze, but I do not want this leader to be touched at all. If they ban the leader, I'm crashing out. I'm so sorry. I'm walking into the first locals I see and flipping all the tables. I'm crashing out. But no, on a serious note though, I don't think Black Yellow Luffy should be touched. I think the leader specifically. I feel like Teach already counters him, and I feel like they have a lot of leaders that can counter him at the moment. Now, when we talk about Gecko Moria, I could see an argument saying you should, ban Gecko Moria, but I also believe there have been so many play around cards and characters and leaders just to play around Gecko Moria. And I feel like they left it in the game for too long, and there are already cards better.
Facts. Yeah, that's exactly the point I wanted to get at. They left it in the game for way too long. Like, if they were to ban it, they should have done that a while ago already. Like, now it's okay, kind of just an accepted point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it never should have been printed in the first place. or at least
At the
at the bare
time.
minimum lock it to like black cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how they feel about restrictions. I know they restricted like Newgate in the past and Red Beam.
Yeah. That was only in
I
the West.
I I see no problem with like reducing it to a two of like and allowing those decks to still have those like super explosive turns, without just being able to stack these till the end of time. So
And it rewards the decks that like it's supposed to be played in, right? Like in Gecko,
Yeah.
if they were to play it, they do have their, you know, their form of searching it out or being able to replay it, right? So it makes that a little bit more rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, the aspect of it. And then next we have that Rocket Luffy, kind of just a talking point of it. I mean, the deck really got a lot better once they got that card because they had no removal essentially. And then, you know, if you ever played against a Black Yellow Luffy player, when they recycle that card and they just keep popping and popping and nothing really sticks, it is quite annoying. However, like I said, like Spencer said, I don't think this deck, I agree with him actually, and I don't think this deck should be touched. So
Yeah.
going on to the next, we have EVO2 Luffy. This leader is running amok right now in the East, and for us, obviously, haven't even seen it yet. But it's just really good generic ability. If you have only Straw Hat Pirate characters, you can Dawn -2, restand 2 Dawn.
I mean, I'm 100% sure that they won't like touch the leader itself,
Facts,
right?
facts. It just came
but-
out.
But Gum Gum Giant, I mean, I don't know. Like that card is so absurdly good. Just allowing you to cycle 2 cards. I mean, you play it and you lose no cards in hand, plus you get 4K counter. It's just,
Yeah.
I think it's just a dumb design. Like, I think that's what like allowed Purple Luffy to like boost back into the game. I mean, all the other cards are good, but like,
Yeah.
really, it's like this
That
defensive card
yeah.
that allows it to live.
And it lets them just sit there at the end of turn with like 8 cards in hand, you know what I mean? And it lets them just like, I hate the cards that let you like luck your way into a win, you know? Like if it's ever happened to me a couple times, but they literally hit that card. They have 1 card in hand, you know, they trash that card and they draw into 2/2Ks and you lose. It's like, come on. You know what I mean? You know, like, yeah.
It should have been like a draw 1.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would agree. I think a draw 1 would have been fair. But draw 2 is nasty.
The thing about this card is that it's so free. Like when we talk about like 10 Dawn turns, Dawn -2 is nothing because you're going right back up to 10. And I feel like if they were to balance this card more, they would have made it Dawn -3 or 4. But I feel like this card is a bit overtuned and it does allow for a really good defensive turns. And I believe this card is one of the main reasons that Green Purple Luffy is even viable.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, too, with that, I'd say it being able to, like, it's the only card of its kind, really, right? I mean, a 1/4, this and Rad Beam are kind of the only cards that do it, but you don't get nearly as much value with the Rad Beam. You don't get a draw. So I think, like, maybe right now, ban it, and then, you know, with likelihood of maybe coming back eventually later with power creep and all that stuff. But right now, like, it's just so gross. It's heads and shoulders above all the other counter events. There's not a counter event that's even close to it.
Right.
Yeah, I think also like same with Gecko. Like restricting this to 1 would take away so much of its like potency. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't just be casually countering a 7K swing with this because I know I only have 1, so I'm saving it for the you know when I really need it. Versus like you know just playing it to cycle or end of the game, no life. I'm gonna leave 3 Dawn up, and then just like counter, like swing 22. I dare you. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I think a restriction, honestly, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna probably be like, it would be similar to like how Rad Beam was in the format at the time, as a 1/of. You know, when they see it, they see it. But when they don't, it's like, okay, it makes sense. But I mean, plus it's searchable, right? So I mean, hypothetically, they could really find it if they really needed to.
Right.
But yeah, so Going on to just some honorable mentions. This is kind of oddly staggered, but whatever. Just some cards that we were kind of chalking up. We didn't mention any green leaders that are kind of in the meta right now. But Smoker did just win the Asian finals, I think, right?
Japan,
yeah, specifically Japan finals, and it was running, these cards, Smoker and the Useless Kid. Me personally, I don't think any of these cards will get touched. I can see an argument for Ice Age. It's pretty bonkers, but I think these cards are fine. I mean, Smoker just won in Japan. Maybe we'll see more of it, but right now I think it's too early to just everybody freaks out and ban everything, right? So.
Yeah, there aren't enough like green leaders getting results.
Exactly. Give them their stuff. Let them live a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Nothing's
out
off
of
the
these,
table.
like Ice Age is just like
Yeah, I would say.
the value is so crazy. Like giving something -5. We were talking about this. Like if I'm playing against Lucci and I drop a 10 drop, I'm like 80% sure it's not gonna stick, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just an Ice Age away from being in range, which it's just like too good a value.
Yeah.
And just it's used in every black deck too as well for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's like if you hit that card, you're gonna essentially hit every black deck and with it too. So
Yeah.
And I feel like having -5 for just one Dawn is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
if it were more of a cost, then yes.
Yeah.
But resting one Dawn for -5 is kind of crazy.
It should be like, I mean, even like 1 for 4 would have made more sense. You know what I mean? Like, and it has a trigger to KO, a 3 cost or less. Like, yeah, this card's pretty. Them OPO1 cards, man. Oh no, this is OPO2. But those early, some of those ones really were ahead of their time. And then unban, we're kind of looking at that. Some cards that could maybe be unbanned. Sakazuki, if you've been looking at the card market, it's been crazy. There is no reason why Alma Sword should be $10 right now at the time of recording. And then Sakazuki Leader, prior to people freaking out about it, this card was $17, I think. And now I think it's getting close to like 50.
That's wild.
It's not even like officially unbanned, but people are just freaking.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a Whitebeard player, so Moby Dick coming off, would it really help out that much? Who knows? But it would be a cool card to have, especially in if they come out with a new starter deck. If it's like red, blue, that'd be kind of cool. Then you could use it.
Yeah.
But, other than that.
I mean, I saw another guy talking about like maybe their thought process on unbanning old cards is it's not going to make them any money.
True.
So like their incentive to do it is probably very small. However, like I feel like if the game is caught up to it, or like it's no longer like ban worthy, then personally I feel like it should come off. Like Moby Dick, like yeah, sure, like yeah, let Newgate cook. I don't really care. Like maybe it'll make it like bring it up half a tier.
But, right? Instead of like C, maybe it'll be B.
Yeah.
And then Great Eruption, that one's up for debate, I'd say.
If they ban Ice Age, I think Great Eruption should come back. If not, no. And as far as Sakazuki, I feel like it's time. Blackbeard could check him. Some other
out of here. Get out of here. No way, dude. I think you keep him.
I believe it.
Keep him gone, bro. Keep him gone. He would definitely keep some cards in check.
It would definitely still be really good.
Yeah. So
I don't know if it'd be like the best deck, like it was, like that overwhelmingly good. But dude, that just the leader effect of trashing a card, drawing a card is like that's so good.
So consistent too.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about it with any of the new cards. I don't know if they got anything yet, but just that whole concept. Or let alone like maybe with the new Kobe stuff coming out in 11, maybe some of the black cards, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary thought.
Out of all these, like I think Great Eruption coming back would be, I think it would be like a little too good in Lucci. But besides that, like, man, I really feel like every other black deck like kind of needs it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Smoker,
I think, yeah, Smoker,
Gecko. Yeah, Gecko whole fell out of
Corona.
the format just because of this card like, getting
Yeah,
banned.
this getting banned made Perona like low key irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they like in replacement they're running Ice Age, which like when you think about it, they usually don't need -5. They want, you know, the card draw and a -2 and that's it. So I don't know. I would like to see it unbanned personally.
Yeah, but I would agree with Spencer though. It's like something's got to give. Either like that, either Ice Age goes and then this comes back, or you know, vice versa. Because it's just it's pretty gnarly. Being able to have that.
All right, final predictions from everybody.
Final predictions. I think Bounce Law. I think let me go through here. Yeah, Giant for sure. And honestly, I think that's it.
Spencer?
They ban every other leader other than Black Gale Luffy.
Imagine. But yeah, I think though, I hate to say it, but I feel like they're gonna ban freaking Doffy leader.
Nah.
I feel like they are. I feel like it's just like such an easy fix, right? That they don't have to worry about.
I'm gonna be so PO'd if they ban Doffy leader.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
Like the fact that they let Lucci run around for as long as he has, and BY, and you know, it's like,
hey,
dude,
don't bring BY into this.
Nah, he's been in this, and then Doffy gets like, you know, 2 sets of like, whoa, like
of glory,
and still isn't like winning every tournament. Like, dude, Sakazuki was winning every tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Worlds, remember the Worlds?
Yeah.
Freaking
Like,
list.
the top
Everybody was
16
running them.
Was like 14 Sakazukis.
Yeah, that was freaking brutal.
Like, he's not even close to being that level. I think if they ban Bounce Law, it'll even out a ton of its matchups. Like P. Luffy, more favorable. Zoro, even like those smaller aggro decks.
Just if you're new to the channel, Garrett has been piloting Doflamingo since the beginning of us playing, which we started in 03. So he's been playing it since, and you know he's finally getting his flowers. So there's a little bit of GLG lore for you.
Time, blood, sweat, tears, money,
hard cash
invested in that deck, and if it gets banned, I don't know, dude.
You're gonna regret not playing in so many tournaments with that.
I might just drop the game. I'm gonna start playing Union Arena or something.
Yeah. Don't say that.
Yeah. Or chess.
So
just play chess.
But yeah, guys. So that's everything that we have to say regarding the ban, what we think is going to be hit and what's not going to be, and all that stuff. So if you liked it, you know we typically do videos like this. We do deck profiles, in-depth guides, all kinds of other stuff for you. So if you have any recommendations, stuff like that, you know, whatever, you know how to reach us. So as always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. GLG out.
Out.
Out.